Hello there and welcome back to the pod. Thank you for joining us. I am here joined with Becky. You'll see I've got a guest on the pod couch. So we're going to find out a little bit more about Becky in a minute. But just wanted to say again, thank you so much for jumping on and having a listen. Thank you for listening to the podcasts that have been out so far. It's great to see that you are tuning in and having a listen, and I really appreciate all the feedback. You seem to be enjoying it so far, so that's great. We are also joined by some new merch that I have here with me. So I don't know if you can see this, but it was my birthday yesterday.
Oh, happy birthday.
Thank you. And my stepdaughter bought me these.
Oh, they're amazing.
So we've now got our own personalised Real Podcaster of Alistair mugs, which I just think is fantastic. So thank you to the stepdaughter for that. So yeah, as I said, we are joined by Becky Tomlinson, and I am going to hand over straight to Becky to introduce herself, her wonderful business, which is Bouquet Wine in Little Eaton. Welcome, Becky.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining on the pod.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. This is actually the earliest I have ever recorded a podcast. So I'm like hoping my voice holds out. I'm fueled by the coffee. We're good to go. So tell us, who is Becky Tomlinson?
So, as you said, I'm Becky Tomlinson. I am the director and the owner of Bouquet Wine in Little Eaton. So we're an independent wine and spirits shop. We sell flowers and gifts as well, but predominantly the biggest part of the business is about wine and tasting events.
Oh my gosh, that sounds absolutely fantastic. So talk to us a little bit more about Bouquet Little Eaton then. Tell us a little bit more about what you do, what you offer.
Okay, so we're really passionate about good value wine. We like to try and support sustainable vineyards and organic vineyards, smaller producers. So we source wine from regions or particular areas that you might not have heard of before. We have one of the biggest things we like to try and do is knowledge and supporting people with education.
Right.
So all of our staff, there's 3 of us now, 4 soon, are WSET trained, which means we've all got qualifications in wine, which is really cool.
I feel like I've got a qualification in wine, and my husband surely should have as well, but okay, that's an actual thing. That's
it is
brilliant.
an actual thing, yeah. So it stands for Wine, Spirits and Education Trust.
Right.
There's various levels, so some of us have got level 2, some have gone on to do level 3 and 4, so we really know our stuff about wine.
Right.
And our sort of aim is to get people to appreciate wine in a different way. Understanding that not all wines are the same. You know, people say, "Oh, I don't like that wine," or "I don't like that grape," or it's an understanding that actually it might just be where that's grown, or how that's grown, or the maturation process of that wine means that you don't particularly like that style. So we like people just to come, have a chat with us, find out what sort of things they do and don't like, and then that helps them on their journey when they then go somewhere new and they sit at a restaurant and they think, "Oh, I don't know what to order."
Yeah.
Oh, when I went to Bouquet, they said I might like this, and they'll try it.
Oh,
So,
that's fantastic. So a real knowledge base there as well.
Yeah.
Not just nipping in and buying a bottle of wine. There's actually a lot that goes on behind it, a lot of knowledge, having a bit of a chat with people, finding out what you like and what you don't like.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. So take us back a little bit. Where did Bouquet wines, flowers, gifts, where did it all come from? And what's your journey been like into this?
Okay, so we always wanted to open a wine shop. The key was trying to find somewhere that was in the right location and work for us geographically. So about 5 years ago, just after we were coming out of the COVID, I did my WSET course, and that's when I really started to learn a lot more about wine and really sort of get hooked into it. So from that moment, really, we knew that this was what we wanted to do.
Right.
It was just a waiting game to find somewhere. And probably, I think it was about January last year, I just saw on Facebook that the little shop in Little Eaton was becoming available. So I was like, "Oh, great, we can have that. We can open this wine shop." So that's basically what we did. Historically, the shop used to also be a florist, and I used to do some small floristry bits previously. So we sort of built on that and built on the history of the shop. And the reason we called the business Bouquet is from obviously bouquet flowers, but it's got 2 meanings as in the bouquet of the smell of wine as well.
Right.
So that's why we put all of that together.
That's clever.
Yeah, yeah. So that was the name and the journey. It's quite a lot of legal boxes to tick, as I'm sure you can appreciate when you're selling alcohol. So we had to sort of set up the company and do all the sort of legal side of that, and then apply for alcohol licensing. You have to sort of liaise with various bodies, so the police, the fire service, environmental health, the licensing authority. So all these people sort of come and meet you or chat with you about what, and they'll put up restrictions on your license and things, what you can and can't do. Obviously that's a key part of our business to be able to have an alcohol license. So we had to do all of that bit first. We did a Mother's Day last year sort of test weekend to see how it would go, and it was just insanely busy. I was on my own. I think we sold like 160 bouquets. And I was like, okay, this could work. So then we closed and we sort of did a bit of refinement, got some more stock, and then we opened officially in April.
Wow. So that's April last year?
Yes, yes.
So from seeing that little shop to opening in April, what was that time frame? How long?
So the Mother's Day was the beginning of March, and then we opened about 4 or 5 weeks later because we just had to do a bit more sort of box ticking to get everything up and running in the background.
Wow. So once you found a place, it actually sounded like it happened quite quickly.
Yeah. I think we just tested it and thought, let's see if this works. And then it did work for the tester.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, we just got to go with this now and just see what happens.
Yeah, the doors are opening. You've got to jump through it. Oh, fantastic. So you're sort of nearly a year in then.
Yeah.
So what's it like running your own business, and have there been challenges along the way?
Definitely. It's definitely
You
difficult.
said that with confidence. Yeah, that's a hell yeah.
So up until very recently, I actually had 2 jobs. So I was working in quite a demanding job half the week, and then doing this as a bit of a sideline.
Yeah.
I'm a mum as well. I've got a dog. So life was just really busy, constantly spinning lots of plates, trying to juggle everything. The shop itself, it's really small, it's quite rustic, so it lacked a lot of the facilities that we wanted long term, but it was a brilliant way to test the business. It was a great base for us, and it's really helped us sort of figure out what works, what doesn't, and get our customer base and our followers. We've learned lots of things. You know, we've done some things that we thought would be quite popular, and then the uptake wasn't what we were expecting. Equally, I've done random things that I thought, oh, I'll try this, and it's been really busy. So that's been part of the learning journey of discovering what has worked and what hasn't. But that's just learning in a business, isn't it?
Yeah, trial and error. And is it hard when you try something and it doesn't work? Like, how do you bounce back from that and not let that affect confidence moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's disheartening, isn't it, when you put your efforts into something and it doesn't quite go as you would expect. But I think you just look at the overall picture. You know, we've managed to gain a lot of Facebook and Instagram followers. Now a lot of our events tend to sell out. So on the whole, it's really positive. It's just like anything in life, some things just don't quite go to plan.
Yeah. And it just takes time, I suppose, finding what works for you, your business, and the local community, like, you know, what people enjoy, what they're going to go for. But you'll learn that more and more, won't you, along the way?
Absolutely, yeah.
So thinking about sort of what you stock then, how do you source all of your amazing things that you stock? So we're talking flowers, obviously we're talking lots of wine, some gifts. Like, how do you source all of that? Where does that all happen?
So the wine, like I said, we try to find smaller producers. We use people who import into the country, and then we'll get certain wines from different places. So it's a bit of a juggling act, figuring out, you know, we've got 5 Spanish lines, we need 5 more, and having to try and sort of match all those in. The duty, I don't know if people are aware of this, but the duty on wines just increased. I'm just going to get my phone because I just don't want to tell you anything that's wrong.
No, please do.
But UK duty from the 1st of February actually went up on wine. So if you buy a bottle of wine from a supermarket at £6.50, the duty's £2, whatever. Obviously, you've got VAT on that. You've got the packaging and your shipping costs. That will be the same across any bottle of wine. You still pay VAT, duty, packaging. But £6.51, the actual winemaker gets 40p of the wine. So the wine and the farming is 40p from that bottle of wine. Whereas if you buy a £15 bottle of wine, all of those other prices remain pretty much the same.
Right.
But £4.40 it goes with accounts for the wine and the farming. So, generally speaking, people don't really know about that.
No.
But the more you spend, the more that actually goes into that producer and that winemaker, and the more profit that they get at the end of it.
Wow, that is quite interesting, actually. So when we're thinking about ethics, ethically purchasing, sustainability, all of those things, when we're just grabbing a bottle off the shelf, there's actually the smallest amount of money that's actually going to the people that have worked hard to produce that wine.
Yeah, it makes it really difficult to compete when you're a smaller sort of business like we are. The supermarkets, they buy in vast quantities, they buy in bulk, they get better discounts, but they actually retail loss leaders, so they will sell things that they are losing money on to get people in, and then obviously you go in and you buy other things.
Right.
So that is quite challenging.
Yes.
But a big sort of key to our business is about sustainability and supporting smaller vineyards, organic vineyards, things like that.
Yeah.
Lower intervention wines. We've got some natural wines, etc. And then with the flowers as well, the plan is to sort of start working with local farmers and flowers on the farm, local growers. So again, part of that sustainability, trying to source flowers that have been grown ideally in Derbyshire, but definitely in England, rather than shipping them across from places like Holland and more sort of well-known flower growing areas in large quantities. But again, it's the weather and the climate makes it a little bit more difficult to get that supply in England, whereas some countries are just a little bit more adapted to growing in huge quantities. So that's sometimes why the price is higher, because it's a smaller yield.
Yeah. So really, for a consumer that doesn't actually know the behind the scenes stuff, as well as you obviously do, what would be the message then, really? When you're sort of thinking about, if you're wanting to be mindful about produce, where you're buying stuff from and where it's coming from, but also, you haven't got loads of money to throw at a bottle of wine every Friday night or whatever. What is the take-home message then? Maybe, is it just think about maybe spending just a little bit more, or like what would the ideal be?
I think if you're going somewhere where they are a little bit more specialist, then that ethically you will be supporting a smaller vineyard. But generally spending that little bit more will, in the bottom of the chain, give more money to that farmer,
which is so important.
And just looking out for those symbols like the organic and things like that, because then at least it's been, whether it's wine or obviously the flower, that things have been made in an organic and an ethical, a positive ethical way.
Yeah. Gosh, that's blown me away a little bit, actually.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of clocking up and thinking about, well, I think that's the thing, isn't it? You don't always think about it. If you're just grabbing wine off the shelf as part of your sort of weekly shop, or you're nipping into the local shop, on a Friday night and you're just grabbing a bottle, it is quite mindless, or thought. There's not a lot of thought behind it.
And you see something on offer, you think, £2 off, I'll grab that. Absolutely.
But actually, I suppose individually, if you are wanting to make a little bit of a difference, just your own little bit of a stamp, thinking about sustainability and ethically buying and those sorts of things, then going to more specialist places like Bouquet Little Eaton, that you are already thinking about that and protecting that. So we as a customer can walk out with a bottle of wine knowing that it's ethically sourced and we're kind of doing the right thing there.
Yeah, I'd absolutely encourage anyone as well to visit a vineyard if you get a chance, whether it's in England, there's quite a lot, or in any other country, because you really do appreciate what I call the grape to glass journey. When you've actually seen it and how much goes in. It blows my mind it's 40p when I know how much hard work has gone into making that bottle of wine.
Yeah, that's crazy. I'm really glad you shared that though, because that's already kind of my cogs are turning. You could probably see, and I'm already thinking like, yeah, I need to do better there, definitely. So for people who haven't discovered you yet, or they have but they haven't visited yet, what can we expect if we come down?
Okay, so we're actually, it's quite exciting, we're actually in the process of moving to a larger premises.
Right.
So our current shop closed the middle of March.
Yeah.
And we're working really hard in the background to move everything across to our new premises, which is still in Little Eaton. It's virtually across the road, it's just round the corner on the industrial estate. So it's an industrial unit, so it's got that sort of industrial vibe to it. The idea being that we're going to be a place that we still do all the wine retail that we've spoken about. We still sell the flowers. In the day, we're going to do coffee, pastries, cakes, sandwiches, things like that, like Italian style sort of sandwiches, focaccia breads and ciabattas.
Wow.
And then afternoon, evening, depending when you want to start drinking, we become sort of like cheese and wine, so cheese board, wines by the glass, and obviously all our events and things will be there. So it's going to have that sort of dual purpose, as in sort of coffee and things in the day, and then wine focus in the afternoon, evening.
Wow, that's exciting. So much bigger unit.
Yeah.
Opening the idea to being able to do more then.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, fantastic. So thinking about, are you going to be open, are there days that you're not open in the week, or you won't be open in the week?
Every day. We just won't be open on a Sunday.
Right, okay. Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
So whether it's coffee and cake or a beautiful Italian-inspired lunch that you're looking for, or more wine and sort of boards that go with that, platters that go with that.
Or a bottle of wine just to take as you would in any other sort of shop as well, because we're going to have obviously all the wine available to buy, the same as we've currently got.
Yeah. Oh, fantastic. That sounds good. So that kind of ties into thinking about what is the core part of your business then, as you're moving and opening the doors to the new place. What is the core bit?
It's wine. You know, it is wine. Wine retail is the core of our business. Whether that's sitting in and drinking wine, or taking a bottle of wine home, or buying a bottle of wine for a friend,
or all three.
Oh yeah, all of the above. The other thing that we're just really keen on is that customer experience and supporting people to find a wine that they like and that they enjoy. And that isn't necessarily something that's really expensive. It's just taking people on that journey to find the right things for them. You know, people having a bit more of an understanding about what they're buying, and just an understanding and appreciating of what you're going to drink, and be happy with what you bought, because then you're going to come back and buy more.
Yeah, fantastic. Oh, that sounds really good. It sounds really yummy, actually. I think we're actually we're drinking the wrong thing.
I know, we should have done this in the afternoon.
We should have been drinking wine. So you touched on tasting evenings. I've seen it on your Instagram. They look amazing. Tell us a bit more about the tasting evenings and what they're going to be like, what we could expect.
So yeah, again, this was, you know, a part of the business. I've already sort of explained about the education and people wanting to know a little bit more and understand a little bit more. So we started running those, I think we did the first one in June. So they are now a really big part of our business, and we've done a number of them throughout the year. So we've done what I describe as like a traditional tasting, where you'll come and we'll do 6 different wines, cheese board. It's us talking about the wine, the grape, the production method that's been used, and then obviously people get a little bit merry and leave really happy. More informal ones, so we've done the odd sort of little, you know, we're going to open up this wine today, or we're going to have a Spanish theme, a couple of wines open in the shop, come down and try them. So they're a little bit more sort of informal rather than a sort of seated event. And then we've done things like tasting events with other businesses, where we've done like a full tasting menu and they've done the food and we've paired the wines with it.
Wow.
So a bit like a gastronomic experience.
Oh wow.
So we've done quite a lot of those. They tend to sell out, so I've just put the tickets on for my next one and it sold out within 48 hours, which is obviously amazing.
Wow. And who's that with?
It's at the new venue. That's our first one at the new venue. So that's like a bit more of like a traditional sit down tasting.
Yeah.
But it's really good for us and our staff as well, because we are WSET trained, like I explained. It's an opportunity for us to share that knowledge with people. We make it fun, we make it interesting, but hopefully people take a little bit away from it too.
Yeah.
And what's really interesting is like some of the customers who have been part of our journey from the very start, they're actually like inquiring now about doing the WSET themselves and wanting to learn a little bit more about wine and have that deeper knowledge, which I think is brilliant.
That's really good.
Yeah,
but and you're right, it's nice for you guys as well to be able to share that knowledge, educate, teach, learn people that are enthusiastic and want to know more about wine. You know, that's really great for you guys as well. You've got that training, you've got that qualification, so nice for you to kind of share that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what goes on behind the scenes with Bouquet that we might not realise? What goes into all of this that you're doing?
Okay, so I know it sounds like a really hard job, but we have to try a lot of wine. Everyone always laughs at that.
Feeling sorry for you.
Yeah. But, you know, in seriousness, we actually do. We have our own sort of quality processes. So at least 2 of the team try the wines, every single wine, before it goes on the shelf. If we're not happy with it, we don't sell it. We have had wines where it's come with a good reputation, and we've tried it and we thought, no, we're not happy with that.
Yeah.
So we personally try them. We spend a lot of time writing the tasting notes, writing food pairings for it. Obviously, even just the process of getting the wine on the website, taking a good photo and writing all of the thing, you know, the blurb about the wine takes quite a long time. You know, if we get 20 new wines in, that can take me a whole day just to get all of that. So you see a little tag at the end of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have our own sort of in-house quality. And as I've touched on, we are moving to a new premises. So at the minute, behind the scenes, there's been little snippets on Instagram, but we are giving hours and hours of our time to this new place to try and get it ready for opening. We've got, I text all my friends, I was like, look, we're having a painting party and you get free wine, just bring a brush, come and help. But, you know, people have helped us massively so far just to be able to get this place to almost an opening stage. So
it's been all hands on deck.
Absolutely.
So a lot goes on behind the scenes, even without the opening of the new place. Once the new place is open, a lot goes on behind the scenes to be able to bring this quality produce to your business, market it, share it, find out about it, taste it, do the blurb on it. There is a lot that goes on.
Absolutely, yeah.
So it's kind of like, it must take a lot of time.
Labour
of love.
Yes, it does. And like I say, we all, as the team at Bouquet, we all spend a lot of time making sure that that's absolutely perfect because we want people to have a good experience when they come. And, you know, the events, we plan those, they take quite a lot of planning. What wines are we going to use? What we're going to pair things with? What cheeses are we going to then put with those wines? There's a lot of thought that goes into the background to make sure that everything just runs so smoothly for people.
Yeah, but it comes through. It's a passion. You seem to absolutely love what you do, so I guess that really helps.
Oh yeah, and when I do an event or the shop's busy and everybody comes in and they buy a wine that we've put on offer and we've wrote about, I go home happy because I think, you know, that worked really well.
Yeah.
Everyone went home happy. I'm happy.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
So you've had some pop-ups and some collaborations at the Bouquet. What have you hosted so far, and what might we see coming up?
Okay. So we did the tasting events, which obviously some of those have been at other places. So we've done a pop-up at the Shiny Tap. We've done a couple of pop-ups at the Shiny Tap actually, where we've just gone along and served wine by the glass. And at the Tiny Tap in Darley Abbey too.
Right.
Bustler. I've done craft events at the Shiny Tap. The tasting experience that I described earlier, I do those with Yasu, the Greek kitchen.
Oh wow, because they're just down the road from you, aren't they?
Yeah.
On the main road in Little Eaton. Lovely.
Yeah. So they do a meze style menu. We sort of advise what we'd like them to make, and then we pair Greek wines with that.
Wow.
So that's a great experience. Everyone always loves that. And I love doing those because they just go so quickly.
Yeah.
And everyone's, buzzing for it.
A lot of fun.
Yeah. We also do whiskey events, so we do about 3 of those a year. We do Burns Night, and then we do a couple of others. So yeah, if you're a whiskey drinker or there's
For the whiskey lovers out there,
we do those as well. The new place, again, we just want to build on that really. So continuing to collab with businesses who've got their own sort of specialties that can work with us, because you know, wine can go with so many things, cuisines. We've got loads and loads of things planned to build on that. So again, those formal events, informal ones, hopefully some more of our pop-ups. We want to do a woof and wine, so people who've got dogs,
okay,
you know,
I'm in.
a little dog walking group, and you get a glass of wine at the end. But yeah, you know, there's loads of things planned. We are literally working so hard in the background to plan out all these events, so lots more to come.
Yeah, it sounds fantastic. The ideas that you're coming up with, I don't know where you get them from. I mean, that's amazing.
I just wake up at 3 a.m. and think, oh, dog wine, we could do dog wine, and then just have to write it down so I don't forget.
You've got a notepad by your bed. So thinking about the local community, does your main support come from the local community or wider?
Generally, I would say yes. We get, you know, a lot of the people who come into the shop, it's local. We do get people buying wine from all over the country. I've had customers buying for people who live near us who are from Australia. I think I got an order. So, yeah, people find us, which is brilliant. And obviously they want to support a local business when they're ordering a bottle of wine or a bouquet of flowers for their family or friends. But yeah, they do come from the community on the whole. The vision with the new place is to create this community space that is inclusive for everybody. So we want it to be, like I said, that sort of coffee and community hub by day. We've got Wi-Fi, people can come and work from there. We want to tap into different groups, so we want to try and see if we can find people, perhaps mums who are on mat leave, who might want to just meet up and have a catch up, because it's quite a lonely time when you're on maternity leave all day, every day. The woof and wine, things like that. You know, we're going to be a dog friendly venue. We're going to be child friendly venue. We've even bought some wine region jigsaws for kids and adults to have a go at. But you know, we want to just be that place where everyone is welcome and people can just come down and it's casual, meet the friends, and then they have coffee or they have wine or they buy a bottle of wine. Everyone goes home happy.
Yeah. Which is really nice, actually. That's more than wine, isn't it?
Yes.
That's building that community, thinking about giving back to that community, and just building something, like you said, for everyone. It might include wine on the way, might be a coffee, whatever, but just building that place for anyone that's looking for whatever they're looking for, whether it's connection, whether it's wine, whether it's focaccia, whether it's a coffee, just building that space where, you know, it's free for everyone to serve the community.
And I've seen that already. You know, we're not quite open yet, but I did an event and people were sat on tables where they didn't know each other, and they've now made friends and they've got WhatsApp groups and they go out for drinks, and these people would never have met each other if they hadn't have come to my event. And I literally love that these people are connected and now they're making friends with people. That's brilliant.
And I think that's I just think that's such a fantastic thing about community. You know, whatever you do, I do, whatever we do for our local community, just building that, and it's connection. You know, we all need connection in some form, whether that's connection to someone else or whether that's connecting to wine or whatever it is. You know, connection is so important.
Absolutely.
So where can we find you then? If we've not been yet, where do we go? Where can we find you?
So the new unit is on the industrial estate. So the actual address is Unit 3B, and it's Old Mill Hall's industrial estate in Little Eaton. Basically, where the Queen's Head pub is, you just turn into the car park there and go left, and there's an industrial estate on there. It's where the Shiny Tap are, Tricks Academy, Block Knives. We're just round the back of We Are Block, just along there. That's where our new place will be.
Fantastic. So plenty of parking. No problem at all.
There is
unless you're drinking and then just walk.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even better. Or get the bus, whatever, Uber. So you've kind of really answered this and it's so exciting, but what is next for Bouquet Little Eaton?
So new venue, more wine, more events, more tastings, that community space that I talked about. We're actually getting an enigmatic wine machine as well. I don't know if you know what that is.
No, I'm looking blank.
We are the only place in Derby to have one, so I'm so excited. It's basically a card-operated wine dispensing machine. It's like a vending machine, but for wine. So you can come in, load a card. You have to get a special card, so you load a card, and then we've got 8 wines in the machine. You can have whites, rosés, reds, and you can, obviously I'll configure all that in the background, but we can have a variety of prices and things like that. And you can pay for either a test sample, a 125 or a 175 glass of wine, and you just help yourself to a glass and it'll just free pour it.
Out of the machine?
Yeah, it's so cool.
I've never heard this.
Yeah.
Why aren't they in every workplace? Next to your coffee machine at work. That is incredible.
Yeah, I'm literally, I've always wanted a wine bar and I've always wanted an enigmatic, and my dreams have now come true. So,
wow,
yes.
You are making your dreams happen. So is this something that's more commonly found in Europe or?
Some of the cities have got them. So if anyone's been to, there's a couple of wine bars in Nottingham that have got them. There's one in Manchester that've got quite a few. So they are, wine bars do have them.
Right.
They're from Italy. It's an
Right.
Italian-made machine, and obviously it's all being installed next week, actually.
That's exciting.
But yeah, it is really exciting. I'm
wow,
bursting with excitement about it. So yeah, obviously that's great because that's just fun. It's fun for people. You can come down with your friends, put 20 quid on the card, and then off you go. You can go and try it, and you can pay for a little taster. So if you're not sure if you're going to like it or not, just have a little sample
first.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it sounds like all your Christmases have come at once.
It is really cool.
Brand new toy. That's amazing. So thank you so much for all of that information. It is exciting. It's fantastic what you're doing.
Thank you.
It's like something really different, really unique, and it is literally right on our doorstep. So thank you so much. So just to wrap up this section then, we like to think about the good, the bad and the ugly. So this is where I will ask my guests kind of what's happened lately or anything stands out that's been good, bad or ugly that maybe we've not already touched upon.
I suppose it's good and bad, but I'm obviously a strand of my business is going to be coffee, which I don't actually like coffee. So I'm on a journey now to force myself to just keep drinking coffee.
I should have done your coffee then. I've had coffee. You should have had coffee.
Until I like it, because I'm like, I can't sell coffee and not like it.
Right.
So yeah, that's my good and bad. But I'm getting there. I feel like I've found the style of coffee that I like. So
wow.
Yeah.
So a bit like wine, you've got to sample it to find the right blend for you, I guess.
Absolutely. And I do say that to people with the wine. People say, oh, I don't like this, I don't like that. I'm like, have you tried this? Wine isn't just one drink.
No.
There's hundreds and thousands of different grapes alone.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm on a journey to like coffee, hopefully as much as I like wine.
Oh wow. Well, I like both. I absolutely love coffee so much and wine, so I know where I'm coming. Okay, so next then, Becky, ask me anything. So this is the bit where you take over. We flip and reverse things and you get to ask me anything that you want.
I think I'm just interested in what you think about, your understanding of wine and what do your enjoyment of wine and your view, because I like other people's views on wine.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. So I am definitely not a wine connoisseur. I don't know a lot about wine and I can't pretend to, but I love wine. I love wine a lot. Probably my love for wine, I've always drunk wine, but I've enjoyed it much more since meeting my husband because he's a wine drinker and really enjoys good wine. So I do now. And I've kind of been on a bit of a wine journey. So I've always been a dry white wine.
Okay.
Love, love, love Italian wine. So always been dry white wine. I then had in lockdown, because there was nothing else to do, this thing that I wanted to try and be a red wine drinker because I think they're maybe more distinguished and grown up.
Sophisticated.
So I tried my hand at red wine. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but it started well. It went really well. Started off strong. I was enjoying it. I was drinking it ethically and responsibly. And then I had a massive accident on red wine when I went to my neighbour's house at Christmas. And we won't say any more. And I've never touched it since, which is a shame because it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And I'm now on the pale rosé, so the very lightest colour you can find. So like a Provence-y type.
Provence rosé, yeah.
I love it.
But do you know that actually it's not necessarily the colour that makes the rosé, like people think that it's the pale, but actually I sell a rosé that's quite dark in colour that is very Provence style.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting because I thought from a layman, someone that doesn't really know anything about wine, the darker the rosé, it won't be as dry and tasty, and it'll be more heady. It will give me it feels like it gives me more of a headache. So I go as pale as I can. Okay. So if I'm buying rosé, like we were on holiday, some friends were on holiday, and we went and ordered rosé, and we were like, can we just look at it first? We looked, we saw that it was so light, and it's like, right, we'll have it.
Yeah.
So I want to know more about rosé, so I know where to come.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is my thing at the minute. The Provence-y type, very light sort of, well, what I thought was really light rosé. Although I went out on Saturday night to a gig, and I was drinking rosé from
a pourri one. Yeah.
How sure was that? About that?
Yeah.
It was pale.
Okay.
I'll say no more. So, amazing question. Thank you. Love wine though, and I can't wait to visit.
Amazing.
So we're going to do a bit of a joint shout out because my shout out this week, Becky has actually mentioned them really briefly, and she's going to talk about them a little bit more. But my shout out this week is to a fantastic local custom fabrication business called We Are Block, and we both smile when we think about them because they're just amazing. So round the corner from where Becky is, there is this big industrial amazing vibe unit, and it is a business called We Are Block. Now they hand make kitchen knives, tables, table grills, loads of things to do with cooking, grilling, barbecuing. And actually, they do custom fabrication, so really anything that you want like that. It is expertly made right there in the Cleaton on our doorstep in this impressive and very lively unit that they run. There is always something going on there. They've got pop-ups going on all the time, collabs. There's also an actual shop. So it's not just the industrial unit where all the magic happens. There is a barbecue shop where you can find anything that you need for barbecuing. So we're talking about actual grills, barbecuing grills, fire cages. They do outdoor bespoke kitchens. They even do like rubs, sauces to put on your meat, accessories for your barbecuing. They do the works, everything you could imagine. So the shop is open 9 till 5 or Saturdays 10 till 5. But they've also, at the same place, they've got this massive unit where all the metalwork happens, all the magic happens. So you've got to go down and have a look. It's fantastic. They also have, so Ben at Block Knives also has a podcast with the three of them called Block, Stock and Three Smoking Bros, which is just such a great name. I mean, come on, that is amazing. Where three friends basically get together, chat about all things food and drink, but be warned, this is not your everyday podcast. So find them on Instagram. They are worth a follow. They are worth a visit. You will be blown away by what they offer. We Are Block, and it's BLOK. So go and have a follow. But I'm going to hand over to Becky because she knows the guys at Block really well.
So yes, we are basically, our new unit is behind Block. They are such an amazing group of people. They've actually custom built us a floor to ceiling, which is in an industrial unit, so it's about 4 meters high, wine rack. So the enematic machine's going on one bit, and then we can fit about 250 bottles of wine. across the back wall. And I sent Ben a photo and said, can we do this? It's basically like Beauty and the Beast theme. So we've got a sliding ladder. So you can climb up and
Like
we
a
can
wine
grab the
library.
wine and it just slides all the way across. It took 6 of them to get it in, and we had to actually weld it in the building because we couldn't bring it round. It had to come round in various pieces. But the guys from Block, they're amazing. They've been such a big help to us with this project as well. We're constantly always nipping round for water, extension cables, a bit of brute strength if we're doing something.
Manpower.
Yes. So it's such a massive shout out to them because they've helped us so much with this project, and we couldn't have done it without them. And one of the guys who's actually on the podcast is a friend of mine called Alex. Block have built him his food truck. It's called Fumo Folk, and bright orange, you can't miss it. And he's coming to do our opening night, and he does amazing barbecue food.
Fantastic. Oh,
So, yeah.
Brilliant. That's amazing. So give them a follow. Go and see the shop. At the same time you're visiting Bouquet, you will not regret it. So that brings us to the end of this episode. I think you'll agree it's been fantastic. All I can think about now is wine. I want to get down there. I can't wait for the opening. It's going to be fantastic. Thank you so much for joining and sharing all your knowledge on wine and also your journey to this exciting venture that you've got going on.
Thank you.
So
Thank you for having me.
Cheers. Ching, ching.